Hi, welcome back. Thank you for watching me again. Today, it's kind of a personal video. The guidance I'm getting is to talk about my journey, how I got to where I am, how my abilities opened up. It feels that when there's a lot of trauma going on, when there's big events happening, it seems to trigger awakenings, to give people more access to their intuition and their abilities, to make it more noticeable, something that just turns on something you may not have known was there before. I know there's some people who wake up and this stuff is just a part of them, something that they've always known. But for a lot of people, it's not like that. It starts slow and it can be a long, slow journey, or it can happen quickly, but for everybody it is different. It's an adventure, it's a path, and you just keep pushing forward with it. So I think this might end up being a few videos, things that can help people that are just waking up, people that this is new to, that may be curious, that want to understand how to grow things, how to move forward. But also for other people who are already on this path, people who are looking for ways to strengthen their connection, to amplify things, to open up new abilities. And I keep adding things as the information is given to me. For me, I would for most of my life have told you that this was not something I could do. The starting point probably is around 2018. My mom sent me a video of somebody channeling, somebody on YouTube. And, I was interested, I was fascinated by it, but it never occurred to me that I could do that. And then, I kept watching it. I was working in New York City, a graphic designer, quite happy, thought that was my life and the things that I was always going to do. I enjoyed listening to people channel and just hearing about these things, hearing that there was something bigger, hearing what they had to talk about. And then for me, when it changed was when COVID started. My grandmother passed away in the first week or two of COVID. She's 104. I mean, it was not unexpected, and it was good timing for her because she would have struggled through that. But about a week after she passed, I was out for a walk because there's nothing else to do, and I heard her talk to me. It was a familiar voice, and it really threw me. I was confused by it, I was a little bit afraid of it, uncomfortable with it. She had a message from my mom, and I didn't know what to do with that because it's hard. When you've never had something like that happen before, it feels strange, it feels uncomfortable, it feels outside of who you think you are, what you've always been. So I kind of ignored it, and then it happened again. So I ignored it again. And I spent probably the next 6 months going for walks with my headphones in so that I couldn't hear anything. But I was watching videos of people channel. I was watching people talk about awakenings and what it means and how do you channel, how do you do these things. And it made me curious. Like, can I do this? Was that real? Did I imagine it? So I found a meditation on YouTube, Contact Your Spirit Guides. And I was like, I'm going to give this a try. So I laid myself down and I listened to the meditation. And inside of me, I was like, there's no way. I can't do this stuff. So, they walked you through a field. You found your place, your guide approaches. And I was like, I don't see anything. They're like, your guide speaks to you. I don't hear anything. And they said, your guide reaches out and touches you. And before I could even think, nothing happened. It was like lightning struck me right in the solar plexus. Like like a punch to the gut that just was so intense, and it kept on going. It was like nothing I had ever felt before, and it continued until I got to the point where it was like, please stop, please stop. I have a mind that likes validation for things, and there was no way I could discount that something had happened. It was too intense, it was too long. It wasn't just like my stomach rumbling or something. This was something big and intense. So that threw me again, because I was like, oh, wow, well, what do I do with this? So I would go back to the same meditation and try and get it to happen again. It never did. I've never felt that way again. But it's been different, because that pushed me then to, well, can I hear? Did I really hear my grandma? And it went back and I did have messages. I could hear it. And I told my mom about it, and she was appreciative of it. You know, it brought comfort in a situation where it was needed. So from there, it's kind of like, well, what do I do now? What do I want to do with this? So I continued with meditations, trying to figure out what information could I get. You know, what are the names of your guides? What messages do they have? And often I didn't get very much. I would get a name, but it didn't feel right, and I didn't, and then people started to talk about Reiki. People I was listening to online, every time I listened to somebody, Reiki would come up. And I know often people talk about when you're waking up, you have to listen to the signs. If words get repeated 3 times or more, like usually it's a sign. It's something that, is going to be helpful to you. So I was like, all right, I should try Reiki. But I'd never done Reiki before. And I didn't want to do something new. I found somewhere local to me. And I had that tab open on my desktop probably for another 3 months. I had told my mom about it, and she kept saying, have you booked it yet? Have you booked it yet? And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think so. I don't know. It feels weird. I don't want to do something new. So then in my social posts, things started popping up. I would see it, it's never the right time. Do it anyway. Now is the time. Just do it. And I was like, oh, this is the stuff people talk about where you get the signs, you get the messages. And I was just sitting there pushing back against it, being resistant. So I did it. I reached out, I scheduled the session, and I was terrified. I didn't know what to expect. It was outside of anything I'd ever thought of doing. And it changed everything. Going there, having somebody look at me and say, oh man, you have a lot of abilities in you. And just validating the things I'd already heard, helping me to understand it. The lady that I went to, I still go to usually about once a month I go to her, and we talk through things, and she still helps me to understand what something might mean, or, just helping me to clear my energy to understand things I might be confused about. And it's huge. And for anybody that hasn't done energy healing before, I've got some little videos up on the channel. When you go and you get healing work done, it can be really targeted to what you need. It can help you to clear blocks. It can help you to open things up. Talking to other people in this kind of a community can help you to really understand and validate things for you so that you don't just spiral off. Because it's easy if you're just sticking by yourself to feel that you're just going crazy, that this can't possibly be right. When in reality, it's something that's waking up in you, and as you nurture it and you work at it, it can really grow into something fascinating and powerful. So from Reiki, I was like, well, where do I go from here? What do I do with this? And a few people had mentioned, you heard your grandma, maybe you have mediumship. So I decided to do a mediumship class. And I found it hard. I struggled with a lot of parts of it. It didn't all make sense. I didn't feel like I had that good of a connection. And then there was an exercise where you made energy balls. You were rubbing your hands together, and then you would expand and see these balls of energy. And it was so intense. She was like, stretch the energy ball. And I was like, ooh, this is going really far. And I could feel my hands shaking, and I could feel the energy. I didn't know what to do with it. To the end of the exercise, you had to, give it to somebody who needs the energy, put the energy into yourself. But I could still feel it. My whole body was tingling. I didn't know what to do with the way my energy felt. It just was overwhelming. So I reached out to my Reiki teacher again, and she was like, oh, you need to do the attunement. She's like, you've got this energy in you, and it can't get out because you haven't unlocked it yet. So that's what brought me to do my Reiki levels. And I did them fairly quickly. She's also the one that started me working with the grids. When I did my Reiki level 2, there's so many different ways that you can do remote energy work. But she said to me, I think you're going to enjoy working with the grid. I'd never worked with a grid before. I had no idea. And it was just, to me, I was like, ooh, I think I might. And I came home and I ordered crystals and I ordered some grids, and from then on it's become a bit of an addiction. I love building grids, the energy that they bring through. But again, it's finding a way forward on your path. What are the things that you enjoy? What are the things that feel right to you? So where did I go next? From there, I did a class. Well, I did a class about Reiki because my brain is analytical. I like to understand this stuff. I want to know where it's going and why does it work that way? How do we do this? Why do you use that symbol? So I did a class online that gave me that information. But then other classes started to get advertised, and I was like, oh, I should do all of this. But then it's overwhelming, and I started to be like, oh, I guess I have to do this. And the guidance I was given was, do the things you enjoy, do the things that feel right to you. Because if you're doing, something that feels an obligation, something you have to force yourself to do, it's probably not the right thing for you. Look for the class that you're excited about, the one that you really want to do. So that's when I did the Metatron class. And that attunement opened a whole new world to me. It just, from then on, when I would do the energy healing, I could feel it, but I could also see it. I would see colors, or I would see representations of things. And then it moved to past lifetimes after that. But it was a progression. As soon as I was comfortable with one thing, then it would grow a little more. And then I would get comfortable with that, and it would grow a little bit more. It still is working that way. The sessions Jennifer and I do, we started with 3 sessions, and now we've got about 40 different sessions, I think, because the possibilities and the way that we work keeps changing and keeps expanding. And I knew I wanted to be a healer, and I knew I wanted to start a business, so I started to build my own website. But I got stuck. What are my services? What do I want to do? And I was like, I don't know. So I had to put it aside, put it down, and just kind of look away from it for a while. But I had talked to other readers in this time, and they had given me direction towards the Akashic Records. And one of those readers had a meditation group that I was in, which was my first real online community that I was in, that people just encouraged and supported each other. That moved me forward in ways I hadn't imagined, just to have that kind of support, to feel part of a community of people that are just moving you forward. So that's the group where I met Jennifer, my business partner Jennifer. And this again is important because they could have missed this. There's opportunities and there's doorways that you walk past every day that you can just miss out on. Because something happened for us. In the same way there's big global events now, there was something that happened at that time that Jennifer and I both had an experience with. And I didn't really feel ready to talk about it, but I felt this urge to share it in this group. I was like, I need to say something, I don't know why. And that's the kind of thing that you have to just go with. If you just feel the urge to do something and you don't know why, try it. You never know where it will take you. So I posted about this and I had said, I'm not ready to talk about this, but I just wondered if anybody else is having experiences with this. And Jennifer answered. And, I knew her name, but we never really had talked. But her experience was really different than mine. And I kind of looked at it and I didn't know how to respond. So I didn't then. But for the next 2 days, it kind of stayed in my head. You need to respond to that. You need to respond to that. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll go back. So I went back and I was like, I'm really interested in that. How did you do it? And that sparked a conversation that has never stopped. We went, it's like just that connection for the two of us sparked something that was supposed to be, because we just, we'd have so much consistency and synchronicity in the things that we were learning, the things that we were being shown, the things that to one of us alone may have been difficult to accept or believe. When both of you are hearing it, it's hard to deny. I'm in New Jersey and she's in Texas. We're not close together, but we're still, when we're talking, we've got these messages that seem like two halves of the same thing. So for us, that's how we've grown, because we validate for each other. We just, I don't know, it just works. And we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. But, for other people, it may be different. Your path can be different. Everybody's path will be different. But it's being willing to take the chances when something feels right to you, when something, you don't have to know why it feels right. You don't have to understand that. It's trusting your own energy, trusting your own intuition, pushing past what is comfortable for you. It's kind of a joke that we have, that Metatron has no respect for our comfort zones, that if, pushing you past what you are comfortable is what makes you grow, what pushes you to something new. Situations that bring struggle in your life, things that are a challenge, push you to something new. If everything's easy and comfortable, you don't learn anything. You don't grow. You just stay in one space. So even in times of challenge, there's great benefit to it, whether or not you can see it at the time. And you'll find too, there may be times when you feel resistance. When they were trying to get me to go to Reiki and I didn't want to do it, it's like it's the soul and the 3D pushing against each other. The soul is like, this is important, and your 3D part of yourself is like, but I'm scared, I don't want to do something new. That's the times you have to push past it. You have to just give yourself the opportunity to try it. If I hadn't liked it, I wouldn't have gone back. It's just, if something feels right, just knowing in your energy, does this feel right to me? Because I was so scared, and the minute I walked into that room and I met Isabella, it was just like coming home. I just knew that was my path forward. And, the path is not without challenges. It was, the path forward is about what choices have you made? What are you willing to do? How are you willing to break free? Along the way, the choices that I made, some of them were easy. Do I take this class? Do I do this? Do I do the next level healing class? Whatever the choices were. Do I respond to the Facebook comment? Things like that are easy. Leaving my corporate job was hard. Talking to my family about all of this stuff was hard. I mean, it still is. Because it makes you feel vulnerable. It makes you feel exposed. There's so many people that are not open to these things, and that's fine, because it's something that if you don't experience it, it's hard to believe. It's hard to understand. I get it. I live in a house full of people that don't have, any real interest in what I do, because they don't experience it. And, but they support me in other ways. And, it makes sense. It works. But it's just different people have different perspectives, and we're all coming at this from different places. We all have different paths in our life. I'm going to do video about that as well. There's a lot of things, because as you travel this path, that's the purpose. If you came to this and it was just like, oh yeah, let's turn on your abilities, and it was like this, you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what the potential of it is. But if you come to it piece by piece, you learn its value and its purpose, and you know how the pieces fit together. Jennifer and I, when we started this business, our first Facebook contact really was in October of 2022, and we started a business together in January 2023, which is crazy. But that's how strong the energies were. That's how things felt to us. And sometimes it's like that, and sometimes it's gentle. But when we started the business, we had 3 services: the healing with Metatron, the Akashic Records, and the Astral Realm. And we thought that was it. We thought, that's the sessions we have. But the more we did those, the more we practiced, the consistency of working on it pushed us to things that, you know, would have seemed crazy at the time, things we would have been uncomfortable with. But we got there because we followed a path. We followed the breadcrumbs. We followed the information that was given. And it's letting go of resistance, trusting that you're going somewhere. You know, like I said, everybody's path is different. I'm talking about mine. If it is helpful to people, just to know that it's not a straight line. It's not, you know, like turning a light switch. There's work that comes from it. There's things that you do, consistency of work. But for everybody, it's different. Everybody's wounds are different. Everybody's blocks are different. Everybody's experiences and the trauma is different. And that's part of the journey. We're all here doing different things, and all of it holds value. Like I said, I think there's going to be more videos about this because there's a lot that we can talk about. But I wanted to talk about my own journey. Today is November 19th. Pluto's moving into Aquarius, the beginning of 19 years of the age of Aquarius. That song's been in my head all day. So it seems like the right time to talk about this. That there's people just waking up, people coming to this stuff, starting to be more aware of their energy and their intuition. It feels like a powerful time, and a time when support and community is going to be really important, so that we can all grow, we can all be stronger, and we can all do the things that we're here to do, the things that we feel drawn to do. I think I'm going to leave it there. I hope this has been helpful. If there are things you want me to talk about, feel free to put it in the comments. Right now I'm following my guidance and the things that are given, but I'm happy to get information or talk about things that you think would be helpful. This is all so new to me, and I feel drawn to do it, and I know it serves a purpose, so, you know, let me know. All right, bye.